So guys, welcome back to the channel. It's awesome that you're tuning in. We're going to be doing a little bit of a chit chat about the classic game console. This is something completely different and something we've never seen before. But what's actually going on? This is like a plug and play Pandora's box display thing, controller game system. I have no idea how I actually call this, because this is an interesting concept that this is something brand new that you can actually pick up from AliExpress. So what's going on with this 10.1 inch high definition display? So it only runs on 720p because most of these Pandora boxes only have a low resolution thing going on. So this is actually the display itself, and I can tell you it is quite big. It's absolutely bulky, and this is like a kind of interesting idea. So what you can actually do with this is that you can just plug this thing like into the wall and you can just play games like that. You can just put it there and you can just enjoy yourself some retro games. So let's say if you're going on vacation, you're bringing this thing with you, you can just, hey, have this display built in, let's say games, and that's it. The overall design, it is made out of plastic. It's already mentioned before, very thick because the main board is in here. So we're having an on and off switch over there. So what is interesting, very cool, that we do have the option to implement all kinds of new things. So here, this is just the input for the 12-volt adapter, but it seems to be still you can use the HDMI. So if you just want to plug this thing into as an external monitor, it's possible. We have the micro SD card over here. So one thing I do wonder, like, and this is a general problem, what kind of SD cards? Oh, we're having Lexar. So it's a Chinese brand, but it's not super bad. Okay, did I actually mess it up with? Did it just, yeah, that happens a lot. So it's going to be sliding not into the micro SD slot. Let's see if we can get it out. Yep, there we go. So one of the problems, volume control over here. And of course it comes with a kickstand. The overall quality, it's okay. You can remove it if you want to. But let's see what's more inside of the box. So this is not like this Pandora's box with arcade sticks. Yeah, there's so far I know not let's say a similar version that we have reviewed here on the channel. 3D Pandora Pro, that's actually how this thing is also called. Here you can see the main board that is actually normally used. We have two versions, kind of interesting. I think this is the Gemma and this is the family edition. So here a quick overview of the main board with some passive cooling and the connector. So you're actually using this in arcade machines too. So we're having here the power supply. It's a very lightweighted power supply. So let's see, it's in 3 amp as it says over there. So we're having wireless controllers. We're having the okay quality PlayStation controllers. They are okay. Some of them smell really chemical. So where you can see, do you know what is actually a fun fact? Like if you're really looking into these controllers, if these things are not rubberized, they are getting like you're getting the cheap one. You can also feel the buttons. They're okay feedback. D-pad feels quite nice, but later we're going to be testing it out. So we're having the battery compartment over here. Man, these things are quite difficult to open up. Having two AAA batteries. I have no idea what's rambling, but and an on and off switch over here. But let's connect everything. But beside that, it also comes with a built-in battery. Yeah, actually that is one of the very cool features. If you're going to be turning this thing on, you can actually over here at the bottom part, we're finding how much juice there's still in the device itself. And I think this is one of the cooler features, that you have like a portable Pandora's box and you can actually play the game like that. So you can just have a portable way to play. But how will it go with the communication of the controllers? At first I was hoping actually to have the controllers communicating with an internal device or an internal dongle. But nope, it's going to be old school with having one communication dongle. You're going to be plugging this thing in here, turning on the controls, and this way we can actually play. Let's see if I'm having the right controller port, because the weird thing is actually if you're going to be booting up the device and we're going to be plugging this in the wrong controller, it doesn't do anything. So I think you need to put them in the bottom over there. Oh, let's connect it. Let's see if this is going to be having anything going on. Yeah, so this is going to be an asshole, freaking connecting everything. Everything has been plugged in and works like a charm. So you can, both of the controls have the option actually to navigate through the main menu. So, but how does it work when it comes to, let's say, everything? So first of all, when you're pressing start, here we're having over the tiny menu where we're having the categorized. So this is something they ripped off from the Pandora's Box 6. But in here we can actually go to shooting and everything else, even the 3 and 4 player option, you name it, it's all possible. And if you're going to be scrolling through the list, you get sometimes a different screenshot. Of course, there are a lot of duplicate games on here, and I think that is one of the biggest problems I'm having with these freaking devices. But let's do a quick overview of the main menu itself. So if you're going to be getting into the all list, you can see there are like 28,000 different kind of games, but it's absolutely one freaking mess when it comes to the list itself. You can see there's all kinds of different titles, different kind of variations, and this is something we've seen a lot with these, let's say, freaking annoying rip of fake boxes. So the 3D list, let's do a quick overview. I think that's going to be one of the most interesting ones, but there's similar games. So let's boot it up in, let's say, Tekken 2. So let's see what's going on when you're going to be putting it up. Pandora's Box 60S. Oh man, those naming, what a freaking nightmare. Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay, so let's see if there's any audio going on. So that is one of the things they actually messed up with a lot of Pandora's boxes, but not with this particular one. So let's see how to communicate, but how does it actually play? I don't notice any input lag whatsoever. The audio quality, it's okay. You know, I do notice that when it comes to the quality itself, you can just hear that it is a little bit of an, let's say you're missing high pitch of the speaker itself. But besides that, it's not like super bad. The emulation performance of PlayStation 3 seems to be working like it should be. And I'm getting my ass kicked, absolutely. Pressing select and start, let's see if I can get out of the menu somewhere. As always, there we go, need to use the shoulder buttons where we can make a quick load, quick save. Quite basic menu, nothing very fancy there. But how about overall emulation performance of the main Capcom systems? Yeah, you can already hear that the audio is completely messed up. And oh boy, this is something we have seen a lot with these Pandora's boxes, that the overall emulation of, let's say, basic games, this should be no problem whatsoever. Everything sounds and looks completely messed up. Like, what is going on? Like, it looks like it has some frame skipping. By the way, the D-pad is awful. I cannot do any moves whatsoever. Let's go move to the freaking joystick. Okay, I can actually do something there. But yeah, this thing is running turbo mode, so this is absolutely freaking unplayable. It's quite unfortunate when it comes to that. Oh, the audio. Oh, this is really bad. Seriously. Oh man, this is really low quality when it comes to that. But let's see how the overall emulation performance is. Okay, that seems to be okay. So it seems to be that only the Capcom system had some issues. Oh man, the D-pad on this controller. Yeah, man, it really makes me sad. Yeah, the controller quality where the feel is okay, but if you're going to be playing some fighting games, this is not going to be a pleasant overall experience. But yeah, with CPS 3 it seems to be working just fine when it comes to emulation performance. Okay, so let's see how it goes with some arcade and Neo Geo. Let's see if we have anything. Okay, is it me or do we get like a shitload of screen tearing? Yeah, we do have like a shitload of screen tearing. Yeah, no aspect ratio, so there's nothing much we can actually do with this. So from the software part. But the emulation seems to be okay. No, don't want to have a flamethrower. But if you're going to be playing games like this, the D-pad is functional. So there's no problem whatsoever. Where are all the buttons? There we go. So out of the box we also have implementation of the HD filter. That is absolutely horrible. But I just wanted to see another random game of the main arcade emulator, and yeah, I think that's the situation that we had with the single Street Fighter game. I think this is just like a single one. I'm very glad that we do have a save function that is okay, but the search option, that is something that I'm very happy with. So let's search for Sonic. Let's see what's going on over here. So the question remains, like, is this the arcade version or is this actually going to be the Sega Genesis? So this is going to be Genesis version. But let's see what's going on when booting up some Sonic 3, for example. It's interesting that it just automatically starts up into this. Okay. Oh crap. I really hate that intro sometimes. But the point is that when you're going to be looking into, let's say, the overall emulation performance, it seems to be not bad at all. Oh man, the LED starts to be blinking on the bottom, so I think I need to plug in the adapter itself. Going to be doing that next after this game. But so far, so good. Emulation, we don't see weird things going on. So let's plug in the adapter. Let's give me a sec. Okay, and there we go. Okay, let's charge the bloody thing. And let's start playing. We do have stereo effects, so they didn't mess up that part. I think that the audio, if you don't like the audio, what I personally don't really like in general, I think this is just an issue of the speaker itself, but it has nothing to do with the emulation. So it's cool to see that we actually have some old school 16-bit stuff on here, because with these fake boxes, you never know. Whee! I find it interesting to see that these games just automatically start into the game. Seriously, like I was just booting it up and this was what it wasn't getting. And yeah, this is of course some weird homebrew game, shitload of screen tearing, some weird thing going on, but just wanted to check out what is going on for the Famicom part. Okay, seems to be that the Famicom part, but yeah, well, the problem is that all of the games are completely mixed in the one massive list. So finding like NES part, they should implement like say categories of 8-bit, 16-bit, stuff like that. I did manage to find a Game Boy Advance game, so that's good. I was just linking into like the list, like what can we actually do, but oh man, turbo crash, because it's running way too much of a high speed. You know, and this is one of the things that I've noticed a lot of these fake boxes. They just randomly put crap on here, but ending up with a lot of unplayable stuff. That's what I think of it. Absolutely. Sonic Blastman for the Super NES. I just wanted to see a Super NES game if we can find something going on, to see if there's going to be an overall good emulation performance. But it seems to be that the Super NES part seems to be working fine. What a weird game. You know, when it comes to beat 'em ups, I really love beat 'em ups, but I always miss out when it comes to certain, let's say, oh crap. What is going on? Oh, it's like Super Punch. But the thing is, like when you're getting the beat 'em up games, I always miss out, let's say the combo systems. Think about Street of Rage 2, 3, you know, we can do some really cool things. It is okay, you can jump, you can just sponge like that. This looks cool. We can dash. Okay. Okay, we do have like a hard punch. We do have like some different variations. This is a game I personally never played before when it comes to the system. But the gameplay, it's quite nice. I was just looking into the 3D list to see what's going on over here, just to do a quick overview. We have some very fun games. Super Bubble doesn't make any sense because we have also the arcade versions. GTA is cool, some football games, but like, are these hacked versions? Like GTA Free City? You know, there are all kinds of different variations on here. That makes no sense. You know, having Street Fighter 2, that is no 3D game. You know, it's like, that's another problem. Like, what the heck is going on? Like, this is not a 3D game. A 3D game, at least I was thinking maybe we're getting, let's say, some PlayStation 1, Dreamcast, stuff like that. But the mess, man, they're made with this list. There's nothing to do. You know, they have nothing freaking to do. Real person, quick hit, 3 US. What the heck is that? What the heck is that supposed to be? Oh, it's even like a freaking Sega game. It's not even like a 3D game. What a freaking mess. But how about the plug and play situation of the HDMI? So it's interesting to see that we can even use dual screen in this point. We can use the 10.1 inch or the 24 inch I'm having over here making reviews. So that's a kind of cool idea. The audio itself will also automatically be transferred to the monitor itself. Don't hear anything going on from there. And the audio sounds even freaking better from the tiny monitor or the very thin monitor I'm having over here. Let's see if they mess up the controls in general. They always like switch out the AB, XY and stuff like that. But it's absolutely cool, but you can also do a comparison of like the two displays, where both are IPS panels. The display in here, it's not bad at all. The general idea of this thing is kind of cool. So that's one thing. You have like a portable device that we can play all kinds of games with. However, when you're going to be looking into what you're getting, oh man, it's absolutely a mess. But let's open it up. And the only thing that we're going to be needing to do is just remove the parkers. We can also remove the screen protector, and the reason why I didn't remove it, you can see that there is no way of getting into, let's say, the screen protector itself. Yeah, that's one of the many things they always do. Oh, I freaking hate it. So I do wonder one thing, like, is it possible to actually upgrade this device? Can we add it like in different Pandora's box? Because this thing, like where the PlayStation 1 emulation is not bad, I must say that I'm disappointed with the overall performance. Game Boy Advance is a mess, you know, and you know, the list and everything. They should make something like this with a pie in the inside. You know, there are so many different cool ways you can actually play. Let's see if we can open it up. Yeah, okay. And let's do a little peek in the inside. But let's do a quick overview, because it's quite interesting that we can find. So when it comes to repairability, so if you're going to be looking at this, you can actually get yourself a different display, and just if you're having the right connection, you can just slap it in. So this is a used screen. No, it seems to be like a brand new window. I wouldn't be surprised if you're going to be using, let's say, used screens when it comes to that. We can remove it over there if you want to. The same goes for everything else, but I'm going to be leaving it as it is. But how about the Pandora's box they're using? But how about the Pandora's box itself? It's quite interesting. So this is in the L form version, like the slimmed version we're having nowadays. So a full size will not fit in here. So Pandora's box stand will not fit, so far I understand. So having over here the pin connector, yeah, we're not going to be using, but let's say if you're going to be putting this in an arcade machine, you can actually do it. You can just use this like an arcade board like you normally do with Pandora's box. Over here we're having an active cooling fan, very glad it went back to that. Over here the connector, this is interesting because this connector, I've seen it with some of the Pandora's boxes. So it is very easy to upgrade to another one. So you can just remove it, plug in the cables and everything else, if you can leave the speaker, and you can actually just remove it and upgrade it if you want to. So replaceable, it's absolutely that. So this is the PCB for the monitor, electric communication going on. So this is the connector goes to the main board. Over here we're having the compartment for the batteries, and we're having just a basic 5 watt 8 ohm. This is the speaker they're normally always using in, I think, every single Pandora's box I have seen. So let's remove that freaking screen protector. So let's remove these parkers over here. And let's lift the display out so we can actually remove the screen protector, because it's all bubbly and this is not the way how you actually want to use this. This is absolutely a freaking nightmare. Oh. Another thing I wanted to showcase over here is the battery compartment. We can just remove it over here, fairly easy. And in here we're finding the batteries, and what I love about these batteries, and that is because you can just fairly easy find them. So I'm in particular when you're going to be looking into this model, so what you need to take consideration, I have different models. This is like the flathead, or we're just going to be calling it. And yeah, when it comes to this battery, the 800, 650, so you can actually see we have all kinds of different brands, but also kinds of different qualities. So if you're going to be putting in three of the bad boys, bigger ones, you're going to be having more gameplay time. So yeah, they're fairly easy to replace if you have any problems when it comes to that. I'm always kind of surprised that they also implemented this, because normally they never do, and you need to buy them separately. So that's something you need to take consideration when getting a portable device like that. Always double check if the batteries are included or you need to get it elsewhere, because finding them can be a little bit of a problem. However, the design itself, it's absolutely a very cool idea, and you can just play your games on the go like that. So out of the box, it has an okay experience, with a simple reason. It has a nice display, a very cool way to play, but when you're going to be looking at the overall quality, okay, let's remove my lamp over here, there we go. So we're going to be looking at, let's say, the overall quality of the Pandora's box. It's a little bit problematic situation. Yeah, the display is okay, audio is okay, but yeah, when you're going to be looking at the performance of the software, that is something they always seem to be messing up. Where some parts like PlayStation seem to be working, but some other platforms have problems. Let me know in the comments what do you think of this. Thank you all for watching, and it would be great to see you in the next video.